cyber briefing for Tuesday, the 10th of January. I'm Stephen Ridgway, and I'm here on my own. Eliza is otherwise occupied this morning, but we'll be back tomorrow. So, only a handful of things, and nothing too urgent to rush into today. However, some stuff to be thinking about. First thing that caught my attention was, which you may have heard of, so I'm not absolutely on the ball with this one, but if you haven't heard of it, it is worth being aware. Chinese tracking device was discovered inside a UK government car after the car had a security sweep. So the tracker was found inside a sealed component within the car, and the component was made and imported from China. This has prompted concerns about widespread espionage based on things made in China or components made in China and then assembled elsewhere. So in this particular case, at least one SIM card which was capable of transmitting location data was found during the sweep of the cars. And these are cars used to carry diplomats and senior government officials. It is, I think, unsurprising that this is going on, but we do seem to, I think, live in a state of disbelief about the level of espionage coming from that particular country. Latest thoughts from the intelligence world is that Beijing takes a very broad sweep approach to eavesdropping in the West. And given the fact that they have probably the best, or certainly they are the most experienced in mass collection of data, I think that probably works quite well for them. So rather than targeting individuals, just collect everything about everybody you can collect it about and then filter it later for the stuff that you're interested in. So what can you do about it? Well, not particularly easy to sweep your own car for trackers. The likelihood is this stuff isn't affecting the majority of people, but if you are in a particularly sensitive role, definitely worth considering that trackers may not be things stuck onto the underside of your car anymore. They may well be things built into your car, or actually, having seen the vulnerabilities in cars recently, they could be the car itself. So there we are. There's that one. Air France KLM's customer loyalty program. So the program is called Flying Blue. It has been breached. The Flying Blue loyalty program is used by other airlines as well. Air Calin, Kenya Airways, Tarom, and Transavia, I think, and possibly others as well. The company is notifying customers of any suspicious activity related to their accounts, but if you are using the Flying Blue loyalty program, I think it's a strong recommendation that you check your account for suspicious activity yourselves. Definitely consider changing passwords. Remember to use passwords that are not reused elsewhere, and if possible use something long and complex and stored into a password manager. If you have inadvertently reused the password from this loyalty program elsewhere, please do remember to change the password on those other accounts as well, because that sort of reuse or basically trying known good username or email and password pairs across a vast array of other sites is a very simple way to get in. So definitely time to change passwords there. So Microsoft says Kubernetes clusters are actively being targeted in a malware campaign via Postgres SQL servers that are being presented to the internet. So the tactics, they say, aren't novel. They're reusing a lot of known vulnerabilities or exploits for vulnerabilities like Log4Shell, and the, the Atlassian Confluence RCE to breach targets and establish a presence. What's in looking for the usual sorts of things. So it, one of the best protections you can do is have IP allow lists on any containers where you have, especially where you have got Postgres SQL containers. Just be certain you know what is talking to your containers and why it's talking to your containers. There may be patches, certainly some of the vulnerabilities have got patches, so definitely worth looking into how to patch those things. Think carefully about trusts between containers as well. It's not complicated, but it is an extra level that you need to think about, and it's definitely worth scanning your own environment to make sure that the containers that you have pushed out, be they managed by Kubernetes or anything else, that those containers don't contain vulnerabilities or aren't presenting out ports and services that you weren't aware of. And then the final thing from me is, unsurprisingly, attackers are already exploiting Chat GPT to write malicious code. Um, this came up in a discussion at that security company yesterday around how cool it is that you can get Chat GPT to write code for you. It can even write essays for you if you're university and want to get good marks. However, unsurprisingly, if it can write good code, it can write good malicious code as well. So researchers at Checkpoint are reported at least 3 instances where code, it can be demonstrated that malicious code has been generated and then circulated in underground forums or dark web forums from ChatGPT's AI system. So what can we do? Well, I think we just have to up our game. Yeah, the potentially all software. Well, when you say all, I can see definitely an uptick in the amount of software that's being written by AI systems, and this particular one, I think, is probably the first truly functional, broadly available solution. Um, and yes, it will get used maliciously. So, what can you do? Well, you can't stop people writing malicious code, but you can keep on top of your, cyber basic hygiene, which limits the threat landscape for anything which is pushed out there. So, possibly worth keeping an eye on whether ChatGPT or the people running it do anything about what's being generated through it. But it does, it basically enables people who previously have got no experience in writing malware to very simply get malware produced. Hopefully, this stuff will be easy to spot. I think at the moment there's a question around um, whether we can algorithmically identify things that have been generated by this, but I'm sure we will be able to, because there are going to be patterns behind it. And yes, it is going to be an arms race, and that is going to be one of those things. So, yeah, keep an eye on that one, and hopefully you won't get hit by any AI derived malware, at least until we speak to you tomorrow. Have a good day, and we will both be back online again tomorrow morning.